Hola chicos, Professor Street aquí con otro video. Este es sobre Paso 3, capítulo número 3. Paso 3, los verbos con cambio de raíz en el tiempo presente. So coming to you today from chapter 3, Paso 3, Paso 3 with stem changing present tense verbs, guys. These are all super high frequency verbs that have some changes in the conjugation. That's very important and fundamental to get a handle on. So this video is going to be a part of several 2 or 3 videos that will also serve as a review for examen número 3, or aka the final exam. Okay, so ¿qué tenemos? Tenemos una conversación con Nina y Luis. Nina dice, ¿quieres venir a mi fiesta esta noche? Sí quiero, pero no puedo. Lo siento, Nina, tengo que estudiar. Va, querer es poder. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So why can't Luis go to Nina's party, right? So let's see. Luis says, sí quiero, pero no puedo. I want to, but I cannot, right? Why not? Tengo que estudiar. Remember, we've seen this expressing obligation, right? Tener que infinitive, have to do something, right? So he has to study, right? So Luis has to study. What familiar saying does Nina use to respond to Luis's excuse? Querer es poder. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? What two infinitives are used in this saying? Right? So we have querer, to want, remember E-R-A-R-I-R, and poder, can or to be able to. These are two fundamental verbs that we need to know. Poder is especially a very special verb called a modal verb, right? That's very special in all languages, right? We use it like should and can in English, right? Poder and deber, should and can in Espanol. All right, so when Luis uses conjugated forms of the two verbs, what happens to the E and the O, right? So Luis says, quiero, right? So we have Q-U-I-E-R-O. So the E becomes I-E, right? And the O becomes U-E. No puedo, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. There's 3 categories of stem changing present tense verbs, right? Los verbos que cambian en la raíz. And remember, this is Paso 3, capítulo número 3. So use the table of contents to get there, right? So as we've learned, the conjugated verbs use endings that correspond with the subjects. Remember, we've been practicing this from the jump, from the very beginning, the verb paradigm, right? So some verbs, especially these high frequency verbs, undergo an additional change in the front part of the verb, known as the stem or the root, right? These verbs are known as stem changing verbs, or los verbos con cambio de raíz. So the infinitive is querer. So the stem, if we take off the ER, would be quer, Q-U-E-R, right? So we change that E to I-E. The U with the Q, just like in English, it needs the U, right? So we kind of disregard the U. It's part of the Q, right? So sí, quiero, I-E, E to I-E, and poder, O to U-E. See, we have pod, and it comes puede, right? Puedo, right? Good. So remember, E to I-E. So look, we always start with querer, which means to want or to love. We know this by now, right? We're practicing singular on the left, plural on the right. Quiero, quieres, quiere. Queremos, queréis, quieren, right? So what would empezar be, right? Let's practice. Empiezo, empiezas, empieza. Empezamos, empezáis, right? Empiezan, right? So look, these only change, if you see, they only change, well, they change in all of the forms except for queremos and queréis, right? These are called boot verbs, because if you trace a little boot around it, it looks like a little boot, right? So what about entender, right? Entiendo, entiendes, entiende, entiende, entendemos, entendéis, entienden, right? Pensar, this is a great one to know, to think. Pienso, piensas, piensa, pensamos, pensáis, piensan, piensan. Very good. So first category, E to I-E, right? Changes in the root, all the forms except for nosotros and vosotros. Very good, chicos. Vamos. Categoría número 2, O to U-E, right? Same thing, we have our verb paradigm, our category, singular on the left, plural equivalent on the right, right? O to UE, so almorzar, to have lunch, right? Spanish has these verbs to mean to have lunch, to have dinner, to have breakfast, which we don't have that in English. So almuerzo, almuerzas, almuerza, almuerza, almorzamos, almorzáis, almuerzan, almuerzan. So you notice, same thing, it changes in all of the categories like a little boot, but it does not change in almorzamos y almorzáis, right? Some other O to UE verbs. Contar. Dormir is one that you're going to use all the time. Envolver. Not sure why they have that one in there. To wrap, as in wrap something up, not as in to sing rap, right? Poder, which we practice in the introduction, to be able to. Another excellent verb. Probar, good one to know. Recordar. Volver. Let's try dormir. Yo duermo. Tú duermes. Usted duerme. Nosotros dormemos. Dormemos, right? And it doesn't change there. Dormais, right? Or dormais, right? Y duermen, right? So, vamos a practicar. So if I were to say a sentence, yo almuerzo con mis amigos cada viernes. I eat lunch with my friends every Friday. ¿Almuerzas con tus amigos con frecuencia? Do you eat lunch with your friends frequently? Sí, yo almuerzo con mis amigos, blah, blah, blah. ¿Puedes hablar español? Can you speak Spanish? Sí, puedo hablar el español. Muy bien. So we have O to UE, we have E to IE, and the last one is E to I. So pedir, right? To ask for, to request, right? This is another very high frequency verb. Pido, pides, pide, pedimos, pedís, piden, piden. Same thing as the other ones, it changes in a boot, right? So all of those forms except for nosotros and vosotros, right? Some other E to IE words, repetir, seguir, which is also irregular in the first person, sigo, y servir. So like in a restaurant, cuando voy a un restaurante mexicano, yo pido las fajitas. I order the fajitas. La mesera, the server, sirve las fajitas. The server serves the fajitas. Okay, muy bien, chicos. Vamos a practicar. So this is from the ebook, but let's do this. A conversation between Juliana y Rogelio. I edited it a little bit, so let's work on it together. ¿Cómo es un domingo típico? Mi familia y yo siempre vamos a la playa Luquillo. Tú blank la playa Luquillo, ¿verdad? Subject-verb agreement. What's the subject, right? To. So we have a verb with an O. Remember our changing rules? E to IE, O to UE, E to I. So this is an O, so it can only go to UE. So to recuerdes. Muy bien. So Juliana dice, claro que sí, es una playa muy bonita. Hacen un picnic en la playa o blank ustedes en un restaurante. So do you do a picnic on the beach, or do you eat lunch with your in a restaurant? So again, we have an O, so we know it can only go to UE. Our subject is, since it's a question, it's after the verb, so ustedes almuerzan. Muy bien. Nosotros siempre hacemos un picnic. We always do a picnic. La comida de mi tía es buenísima. Remember our isima from the other video? Mi tía es buenísima y yo siempre blank más. Pedir. What does pedir mean? Remember, to ask for, to order, right? So it's even to ask for. So not always order like officially in a restaurant. I can ask for help. I can ask for a favor. I can ask for many things that are not food, right? But in this case, yo siempre pido más. Good. Y después de comer, and after eating, los adultos blank la siesta. That's all we need to know to get this one. Subject, verb. Los adultos, so plural, third person, right? Los adultos duermen la siesta y los niños juegan al fútbol, right? Or al voleibol. Luego escuchamos música y charlamos. We listen to music and we talk. Tu blank mucho a tu familia. So querer, remember, means to want or to love. So you got to use the context. So would this say you want a lot your family or you love, right? So querer, we have the E, so E to IE. Tú quieres mucho a tu familia, ¿no? Sí, por supuesto, mi tío Mario es muy divertido. Siempre blank chistes. He always tells jokes. So it can only be UA. Cuenta. Sí, yo entiendo perfectamente. I understand. Mi familia es muy unida también. Okay, chicos, how'd you do? So remember, practice these, say these things aloud, really work on the paradigms to drill, and you guys will get the hang of these because these verbs will appear over and over again. You guys are doing great. Let's finish strong. Have a good day, chicos. Hasta luego. Ciao.